Hello, everyone. My name is Cederick Johnson, and welcome to another episode of MRI's RE Visionaries podcast. Today, I have a special guest. Her name is Jenni Matthews, and we're going to be talking all things retail trends, whether the holiday season is going to be naughty or it's going to be a little nice. Jenni, how's it going today?
Hi, Cedric. Thanks for having me. It is very cold here in the UK. We just had our first snow snap as well.
I do not envy you. So Jenni, tell me a little bit about your background, how you got into this role. What do you actually do at MRI?
Of course. So my career is it spans 20 years in marketing. I studied marketing, advertising, and PR, and then I fell into the PR and insights role probably about 12 months ago. I've always had a passion for data, even throughout my marketing career. Everything that I have, all the campaigns we produced, all the events that we've worked on, everything has been backed with data, with the results, with the ROI. And I feel like this insights role has lent itself very nicely to all those skills that I've developed. I love getting into the numbers. I love seeing how we can improve on the numbers.
I'm glad someone has an interest in numbers. You are fantastic at gathering those data and insights. I don't know what we do without you. Um, but Jenni, take me back a little bit to little Jenni. You can't tell me that little Jenni wanted to be a data and insights analyst. What are you talking about? What did you actually want to do?
Little Jenny, actually, and nobody knows this, I actually wanted to be a radio DJ. I wanted to do work experience at our local hospital for the local radio station. I love music. I always have done, and
Oh
I
my
always wanted to
gosh.
sit there. But as silly as it sounds, I always thought they had people in the radio, in the studio, singing live. I didn't realize it was all tapes and CDs. And I know that is going to be really embarrassing me saying that out to the public, but that was my mindset when I was a little girl.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first. Jenni thought people were singing live at the radio station. I love that. I too have a passion for music. I actually wanted to be a singer when I was younger, and I still sing. My whole family sings. I have like seven siblings, and everyone sings. Well, with the exception of my older brother, he is not vocally gifted, but he plays the bass. So we let him be a part of the band.
Oh,
Um,
amazing.
Now, Jenni, a while back, MRI acquired Springboard, right? So it's been a few years since then. And you all had been producing these data reports with Footfall Analytics. How long had that been going on?
So that was probably 20 years actually. We've been doing this for around 20 years. We started installing into retail destinations. We started off in the high street, known as downtowns in the US. And that's where the whole sort of springboard on location journey began.
What's the for people who may not know, describe the sort of the technology behind it, right? Because there's an AI component, there's a camera component. What does that look like? And sort of get into what you would perceive to be, or what our clients have told us is the benefit for retailers. What do they get out of the data?
So the technology that we use, there's two ways that retailers, stores and destinations can leverage this. They can use their existing CCTV cameras and use that to be able to count people. We can implement the technology through that, or they can install footfall counters, which is exactly the same purpose. The size of the equipment is the same. It's very, very modest. It doesn't take up a lot of space within the store. And what that does is that counts people in and out, but it does more. It also does more than that. So it also looks at age and gender analysis as well. It looks at dwell and movement throughout the store. And what this gives retailers and the destinations are the insights to be able to monitor what consumer behavior looks like in those areas. And by gathering that data, one, they can determine, is their consumer profile changing? Do they need to adapt their marketing, their messaging, their product offering to suit the new consumer profile? And then secondly, It also helps with managing operational efficiencies as well. So you look at staffing schedules, you look at energy and FM usage. Do we need extra security on over Christmas because we know it's going to be the busiest time of year? Have we got an event on over the summer where we're going to need more staff on board? We're going to need more frequent cleaning, especially for hospitality as well. Restaurants, do they need to get more people on board?
Yeah, there's so much good information. I thought it was so cool this summer when you and the UK team were sort of measuring the Taylor Swift effect because when she was coming into town doing her humongous concerts and people were actually coming from other countries to see her, and you all were trying to measure what that looked like. What were some of the cool and interesting things you saw out of that data?
Do you know, I think the impact on hospitality was immense. Now, the Taylor Swift Eras Tour took place around a couple of other key events as well. So we had the Euros 2024, we had the football taking place, we also had the Olympics taking place as well. So it was literally a summer of sport,
Like a triple
entertainment,
whammy.
like but so we had all of that taking place, and actually, it's given us an appetite for next year. We've got Coldplay and Oasis coming to Wembley. They're taking over the entire summer. That is going to be a major, major boost to the local economy. And with Coldplay expected to only tour in England, I think they've only got UK dates as part of their European tour. Everybody's going to be flying over for that specifically.
Wait, they're not coming to the US?
I haven't seen dates for the US yet.
That's so disrespectful. I, I love Coldplay. Like they are one of my favorite bands. Actually, because I
Ah,
grew up, I grew up in a very conservative, traditional home where we could not listen to anything but gospel music, Jenny. So when I got to
yeah.
college, my roommates were like, "You've never heard of Coldplay," and so so that was the first one of the first albums I heard that was not a gospel album, and I have been slightly addicted and obsessed ever since. So I'm going to be
They
tracking those
are
dates.
definitely, they are my bucket list concert. So we have actually got tickets
Oh,
for them.
okay.
I will let you know how they are.
Please do. Oh my gosh, if you get to go, Jenny. So jealous. Okay. Um, well, let's hop into the data, the forecast, the trends for this year. Um, so let's take it back a little bit and let's talk about historical trends first, right? So everyone remembers, during COVID when retail, going in person to shop just took a nosedive. I remember being cooped up in my apartment and not being able to go anywhere and just ordering everything and wiping down bags and all of this other foolishness. Um, but since then, we've started to see a gradual increase or improvement in those return to the stores. Talk about what we've seen in the last few years, and then we'll get into what we're seeing or forecasting for this year.
Definitely. So I think let's take it back 12 months because I think last year was probably the first year post pandemic where we saw trends almost return to normal. So last year, Black Friday was the catalyst for the festive season and it fell a week earlier than it is this year. Across the board in the UK, high street, shopping centres, retail parks, they all saw consistent rises in footfall throughout that week, averaging almost an 8% week over week increase. Now, shopping centres were the clear winners on Black Friday. They saw an increase in activity that was double that of the entire week. High streets performed a lot better than forecasted, and that is probably a nod to the attractions that are put on by many of the town centres. It's doing its job in attracting visitors to those areas and in turn into the stores within those areas as well. The other factor that we also need to think about is payday will have fallen on Black Friday this year, last year, as it will this year. And it's potentially
Uh,
the final one before Christmas as well. So Black Friday sales provided the perfect opportunity for consumers to snap up those festive bargains. So it's a blend of great deals and experiences that are driving Black Friday basically. And then if we look across the pond over to the US, Thanksgiving sets the stage for holiday shopping. It was a promising start for retail stores and destinations in downtowns last year. They saw pedestrian traffic rise by an average of almost 7% on Sunday and Monday compared to the week before, and it suggests that shoppers were heading into the downtown areas to stock up on groceries and supplies ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday on the Thursday.
So when you're comparing like the two, who would you say has had like the most drastic recovery so far, or are they comparable?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
I said when you're comparing the two regions like the UK and the US, who would you say has had the most, I guess, drastic recovery so far from the pandemic levels?
So I'd probably say the US because the UK were mandated with many lockdowns after
Mm,
the pandemic. I think the US went straight into it while there was still an sort of sense of caution amongst going into stores and destinations. There were no sort of mandated lockdowns set by the government. Whereas in the UK, there was probably a year or so's worth where before we actually fully went back into offices, back into retail, where all the lockdowns were lifted. So I feel like they're probably on par with one another now. But the US definitely saw that recovery much quicker than the US.
yeah, we definitely got out in the streets faster. We were sick of it. Sick of it. Now, Jenny, every year you all put out this. You and your team put out this thing called the Golden Quarter Forecast. In the U.S., we call it something different. It's just simply the holiday season, but it's one of the times when people typically, come up off those coins and start going to the stores a bit more. So, what are you seeing or forecasting for the holiday season?
So we launched our Golden Quarter forecast back in September, and it looks like it's pretty steady this year. So we expect footfall to for retail parks, we expect it to rise by about 1% in December compared to last year, but it's high streets and shopping centres that are going to see more of an uptick the closer we get to the end of the year. And that aligns with historical trends. So we expect high street footfall to rise by around 5% in December and by just over 2% in shopping centres compared to last year. And then if we compare this to 2019 levels, we actually expect retail footfall in December to be just 5% lower, and that highlights the gains that we've made this year and how important the golden quarter is in driving not just footfall but also sales as well.
So when you say, for instance, if you're looking at like the beginning of the year, like Q1, and you compare it to Q4, what's the difference that you see in the data when you compare those two times of years? Like how big of a difference does the golden quarter make compared to when people are just kind of chilling?
So that is a really good question because Q1 of this year we actually saw Easter fall into that period. It was
Ah,
an early Easter break, and Easter is the second biggest holiday in the retail calendar. So if we were to compare both Q1 and Q4, we'd probably actually see similar trends just because of the way the holidays have shifted. Now, if Easter fell in April, which it will do next year, we're going to see a massive drop off in Q1. We're going to see a much quieter time unless people are starting to prepare for Easter at the start of March or throughout March. It's usually March that will be give that uplift, depending on when Easter falls and the Easter holidays as well.
that is super interesting. So Easter is the biggest, second biggest holiday of the year. Is that just the UK or is it also the US?
I believe it's just the UK. So we have Good Friday and we have Easter Monday. So it's a 4 day weekend across
Okay.
the board. And then we also tie in school holidays with that as well. So there's normally a 2 week school holiday period surrounding the Easter holidays.
So when you compare like that to the US, so I would assume Christmas is the biggest holiday in the US, and then what
Yeah.
would be the second one? Is it like Thanksgiving or?
It's either Thanksgiving or July the 4th.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
July the 4th
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. People get out on July the 4th.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of vacations around that time as well. We see a drop
Yeah.
off in downtown traffic around then. Yeah.
That is true. It's very true. So when you're looking at this golden quarter, there's also a period that comes slightly after Christmas that's up until like New Year's, and there are a lot of sales and people are still sort of in the shopping mood. What does that look like for this year?
So, yeah, we have Boxing Day in the UK. That is classed as a holiday, but it's typically viewed in the retail calendar as a key shopping day with seasonal sales across the board, as you mentioned. So, last year it was really encouraging to see footfall rise by about 4% across all UK retail destinations. That's in comparison to Boxing Day 2022. And a lot of that was driven by a 9% rise in high street activity. Um, but despite that, footfall on that day still remained around 15% lower than 2019. And that could be due to many people still spending time with families or actually shopping online in the sales, which may have started on Christmas Day. Um, we guess it'll probably be similar trends because what we did notice during the bit in between Christmas and New Year was that Thursday, December the 28th, was a bumper day for retail footfall, both here in the UK and across the pond. So we saw high street footfall. That's where we saw the biggest peaks on that day. Same with retail parks and shopping centres. So that day is key for people wanting to get out of that Christmas slumber, restock on their groceries, take advantage of the post-Christmas sales, and kind of just get out and about and make the most of the last of the festivities, I guess.
You said Christmas slumber. That's so true. Because the amount I eat, Jenny, during the holidays, it just gets ridiculous. It gets wild and crazy. It's like, I have to break out a whole new wardrobe. It's all sweaters and knits for me. I cannot deal
Yes.
with it. I cannot. I'm the worst. And Thanksgiving is coming up. It's, oh my gosh, the
Oh, we're
eating
lucky.
that is about to ensue.
Well, we have all of our Christmas treats, chocolates lining the supermarkets from the 1st of September. So we've had a
What?
way of a head start. Yes.
I was just talking with some friends about this, and we were debating whether or not it was ridiculous to have up Christmas lights. And one of my friends was already wearing like Christmas socks and stuff like that. I was like, "Ma'am, now you have gone too far and stayed too long." You're and then the next thing she showed, she was putting up her tree already. I was like, "It's not even past Thanksgiving. What are you
Oh, I love
doing?"
that. See, I am a massive fan of Christmas, as
see,
you can see by my gingerbread
see,
house mug.
you and her would get along perfectly. I am here for the food. These decorations are not what I do. No. All right, Jenny. So as you know, we've been talking about it's been a bit of a recovery period for retailers, right? So what do retailers have to do, right? Because not only are we still coming out of the effects of the pandemic, but also there's this move toward online shopping that retailers are having to contend with as well, that are causing people to maybe visit brick and mortar locations less. So, what are some strategies that they can employ to help their stores, continue to be competitive in this marketplace?
Gosh, there's so much that stores can do, but it's also up to the destinations as well to support their retail tenants. So let's have a look at some of the key things. One of the big things that we've seen help that has been key to driving footfall is the festive events and markets. So, like the Christmas light switch-ons are a big event in local towns and cities across the UK. Christmas markets have also started opening up as well, and we'll start seeing footfall rise in the sort of historic and market towns where these markets take place. So that's all started from early November, so it's already helped build that momentum as we get to Black Friday. And then this ties in with like festive activations within malls and experiences delivered by retail stores. And that can be in the form of in-store promotions or special evenings where consumers get to experience a new product or a service for that particular brand. So think of like interactive events or holiday themed workshops, alongside investing in photo booths or displays where consumers can capture those Instagrammable moments. And that's another thing, like there's that whole rise in social media marketing as well, using
Yeah.
TikTok and Instagram to drive consumers to your stores. I was on TikTok last night and I saw one of our local supermarkets had just put out all of their dog toys for Christmas. And I will be heading there later this evening to collect them all. So
Wait,
it's worked.
how many dogs do you have?
I've only got one dog, but she's the most spoilt dog in the whole wide
Oh,
world.
I love it. I love it.
But it's things like that. It's like, you're only going to be able to get it in store. And I think that's another channel that retailers do need to leverage. And another thing is make it convenient for your shoppers. Look at how many of us are going back into offices now. So have a look at the opening hours, look at extending them beyond the working day, offer that click and collect service. And that's key for those who are working in downtown areas or towns and cities. If they know they're going to be in the office, why not just allow them to pick it up? And then use the data that you've got to your advantage as well. So can you identify what the peak trading days were last year? Can you use that to support with staffing schedules and operational management? What does the ambience of your store or destination look like? Is it too warm? Is it too cold? Because that affects the consumer's experience as well. If they're too hot and they don't want to be in that space anymore, they'll just leave and they'll think, I'll order it online. So there's all that to consider. What else have we got? So we've got Black Friday coming up. There's always that sense of urgency with limited promotions. So look at flash sales. Look at doing something like the 12 days of Christmas. Could you have a limited in-store offer, in-store only, for one
Mm.
product? And then, repeat that for the 12 days leading up to Christmas. And then one of the key things, and I don't know if this applies to the US actually, is parking costs. So in towns and cities, we have to pay for parking in the
Oh yeah, we
UK.
definitely do. It's like here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
This is why I'm Ubering most of the time. Okay.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, that's the one thing that obviously shopping malls and retail parks offer free parking. Some shopping centres do to a certain extent, but retail parks have that choice, have the free parking option, have everything under one roof. If high streets are able to, is there an initiative that could be run where they provide free parking for every Saturday in December? Or look at what
Hmm.
the quietest days are. Could they offer free parking on those days to boost footfall during that time? And then I think the final thing is probably for destinations to collaborate with their tenants, collaborate with one another. So Christmas light switch-ons are big here in the UK across all towns and cities. It provides local stores and hospitality vendors with that opportunity to collaborate and promote their businesses to visitors into the local area. And there's also that sense of community amongst businesses and local residents. So that's a big thing as well. It's creating that community spirit.
Absolutely, absolutely. Speaking of community, Jenny, what are some of your favorite holiday traditions? So I'm about to, after this week, I'm heading out to Dallas. Most of my family lives in Dallas, Texas, and so every year for Thanksgiving, we rent this like huge cabin in Oklahoma because my family's huge. It's like going to be like 20 to 30 people, and we rent this huge cabin, and we all head up there for like a week, and my sisters are in the kitchen. I'm actually getting in the kitchen this year. Now it's not.
What are you
It's not a.
making?
It's not even a big deal. I don't even know why I got that excited.
Are
I'm
you the
making a
pot
for
wash?
for sure. I also am good with the cocktails. I'm good with cocktails.
There we
Um,
go.
but I'm making a frittata. It's a Gordon Ramsay frittata that
Oh,
I have now. This will be my third time making it, but I've never made it for this many people. So doubling the recipe is going to be a bit challenging. So I'm gonna have to have some supervision. Okay. But what are you doing? Where are you headed? You going somewhere with the family?
so Christmas traditions. Do you know what? Over the years, we don't really have traditions, so we split the Christmas holidays. Christmas Day we spend with either my family or my husband's family, and then Boxing Day we go to the other side of the family, and that's always the way it's been. This year we're actually traveling Christmas Eve to do the whole Christmas Day festivities with my family, and then
Nice.
then Christmas Day will be at my husband's family, and then Boxing Day will be at home. But I love using this time of year to literally slow down. Like it's so busy all year round, and I always found, now this was pre-pandemic, every time I got to Christmas I'd be so excited and then I'd just fall ill. I'd get the flu and I'd spend all my
Yes.
Christmas break in bed. So I love using this time to literally get the house kitted out, all festive, watch Christmas movies at the weekend, enjoy the long winter walks with the dog, and like just cozy up
Oh,
with hot chocolate. And that is what I love about this time of year, is like it gets dark so early, but it just gives us that chance to slow down and actually reflect on the year as well, like celebrate all the
It's
successes that
so
we've had.
important.
Absolutely. Like you can't go into 2025 or, the next year without having looked back at everything you've done this year and where can you take it next year. So
Yeah.
that is the one most heartwarming thing that I have started to do a lot more of.
Winter walks they sound amazing, actually. With a cup
Yeah.
of hot chocolate, with the dog, with the family.
That's too
That
much
sounds
to juggle.
amazing.
That's
Okay.
not, that's
I
too
went too
much
far.
to
Okay.
juggle. You just about manage the dog.
You said you like watching Christmas movies. What's your favorite one?
Oh, it's got to be the holiday. So
Oh,
me,
yes. Yes, I know this
me and
one.
my sister have got tickets to see the holiday with a live orchestra.
Wow.
We're going to see that in a couple of weeks, and I honestly can't wait. I've avoided watching it because I'll normally have watched it by now. So I'm holding out for the 1st of December so we can watch it. And yeah, we're really looking forward to that.
My favorite one is because I'm a child and I love foolishness. Is Jim Carrey's The Grinch? It kills me.
Oh,
That movie I just laugh thinking about it. When he shaved the mayor's head and was like fabulous, it takes me out every time. I can't.
so when will you be watching that?
I'll probably watch it this coming week with my family.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we'll
Oh,
have
nice.
the kids love it, so we'll
Yeah.
pile up on a couch and do it. Have you started your shopping yet?
Oh, yeah. I started way early in the month.
Jeez.
We've got boxes arriving daily at the moment to the point where I had a delivery earlier today. I was on the phone with somebody and I said, I haven't even got a clue what I've ordered anymore. It's just another box that is getting thrown into the corner and I'll deal with it the week before Christmas.
Jenny, I'm the antithesis of you. I haven't bought a thing. And my family's so big, though we do like gift exchanges, so you have to
Yeah.
draw a name and all this other stuff. And I haven't even looked at what the other person wants. I'm the worst. Okay. Well, Jenny, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to chat with me today. I know your schedule is super hectic, and I hope you have a fabulous holiday season.
Thank you so much. Have a fantastic Thanksgiving.
Another huge thank you to my special guest, Jenni Matthews, and we'll catch you all next time right here on MRI's RE Visionaries podcast. See you later.